Hi, week 2 and Tuesday. My days back around. This week's topic is hometown. So I will just dive right into it so I don't go terribly long. I realized after thinking about it that I spend a lot of time in different towns in this area. My area it consists of, like maybe, let's see, 5 small towns within 10-15 minutes of each other that that make up this small area. And then, you go north and you have the big city of Fresno. So after much thought about it, I am going to, I'll just talk about, well, you'll see. I grew up in a small town, Central Valley, California. Technically the Bible Belt of California. So, there's a lot of conservatives here, but it's, not as conservative as it was when I was younger. It's, progressing more. But I grew up in a small town in Dinuba. I spent most of my years up until my freshman year of high school, in the town, growing up in the schools. And I still have family over there. I still go do things over there. And it's a small town with not really much to do. In my junior year of high school, we got a bowling alley and a movie theater, and that was our big thing to do. We didn't really go to the movies that much because that got expensive. I had a friend in 7th, 8th grade, whose dad was the bowling manager, or the manager at the bowling alley. And so we would go to the bowling alley a lot, and we thought we were cool because we would bowl. And yeah, those were some good times, just, bowling. But after a lot of thought, my growing up consisted of this park. At this park, like, everything happened at this park, Roseanne Park. It was named after California's first female senator. I'm pretty sure she was the first one. 1977 to 1993 is when she had a seat. So that was, and a lot of areas have something named after her, but this was the Roseanne Park was kind of everything. I grew up doing dance and cheerleading. Cheerleading, we'd have practices at the park, and there was like a band area, band shell, and that was where we practiced. Always there, elementary and junior high, you kind of get just dropped off at friend's house, and there's really not much else to do except hang out. But I did after school sports and stuff like that. So if I wasn't hanging out after school to do sports, I was at cheerleading practice at the park. I hope that I'm just going around in circles. I'm trying to keep it all straight. Sorry, and I'm trying not to just ramble and talk a bunch. But let's see. The main thing that I kind of wanted to talk about was twice a year there are 2 parades, and it kind of all goes back to this park. Cinco de Mayo, which 5th of May, if you don't know that or can't decipher Spanish, and Raisin Day. Cinco de Mayo, it's just, Mexicans celebrating that. And Raisin Day, this area, we have a lot of vineyards, and if you eat sun-made raisins, there's a pretty good chance that it came from the Central Valley vineyards. I don't like raisins. It's unfortunate. My husband's family had their vineyard, and they did grapes, or they sell their grapes to sun-made, and I don't like I don't like raisins. I love grapes. I love wine. It breaks my heart that we don't use our vineyards for wine and we use it for raisins. But what can you do? But yeah, those are the two big celebrations on in Dinuba. The parade starts downtown, and then the main area isn't in downtown. The main area is on this like stretch on the front side of the park. Everything from school bands, cheerleading things, senior class of the high school has a float. Junior high has a float. You know, there's just different floats. Rotary, PTA, a whole bunch of things. After the parade's done, everybody goes to the park. There's vendors where you can buy like headbands, bows, stupid crap that you'll never use after you leave that park. Unless you're a little kid and you buy something that could irritate your parents or something. You know, that those kind of things. They have that cheap little carnival, you know, with the very scary roller coaster that you think is going to break, and the Ferris wheel that, again, you want to get on it, but you're afraid that it's going to collapse underneath you because it's very old. With very scary looking carnies. But the ones that we always got were very nice. And I know that's kind of a bad stereotype, but a lot, I did come across some very mean ones who were just scary and mean. And then, you know, at the band shell, they'd have entertainment. Cinco de Mayo, we had lots of mariachi bands and folklorico dancers and lots of Mexican things for the entertainment. But we did have, like, you know, that's when we would get practice in for, you know, performing for cheerleading or for dance, just different things like that. The main part, though, for me and my mom was the food stands. The food stands were probably about maybe 15 to 20 food stands, and they're the same ones for as long as I can remember, the same ones. There's the Apostolic Church, the Catholic Church. There's like 2-3 different Catholic churches. You know, there's Mennonite Church that sets up there. There's the Rotary Club. There's a drama club. There's the guy that rides around in the little cart thing selling corn and fruit cups and stuff like that. Every year, same thing. Every year, same food, and I'm not complaining. It's like my favorite part of that. I'm looking forward to it. 2 months. You know, after a while, like when we first, like, you know, my first memories of actually going, we would kind of just, you know, pick food or whatever. And there was one year where me and my mom we ate everything that we could. And after that year, like, we ate so much that we were sick. It was that much eating. My mom lives, you know, I'm going to say walking there and back, it's a mile. So ever since that year, we just walk from her house to the park because we feel we need to get exercise in after we eat. But our menu is, we go to the Apostolic Church booth. I get 2 tacos, 2 carne asada tacos. I get some pozole. I get a big thing of horchata. And then I eat that. I don't know my mom's menu. She does different things. After that, I go and I get, what is it? I get the corn on the cob. Jenny might have a better idea, but, you know, I make it Mexican. I put, you know, lime, Parmesan cheese, chili powder, and I eat that. And then I go get a fruit cup from the guy. I'm trying to think what else. And then I get 2 more carne asada tacos because I love carne asada tacos. Those are the best things ever. What else do I get? I kind of wrote it down and I'm trying to remember. Oh, and then the last thing that my mom would go get before we go is from the stand. I don't even know what the stand is, but I just know it's a group of Filipino ladies who have been the same age since I was, you know, 10. But they mass-produce lumpia. It is the best thing ever. My mom, we don't eat it at the park. We get like maybe 2 dozen, and we take it home for everybody else to eat. But this lumpia, if you've never had it, it's kind of like egg rolls, but better. They're similar. I've you know, egg rolls I think have more cabbage, and lumpia doesn't have cabbage, and I think that's the main difference. I'm not sure. If you know, let me know. I don't feel like looking up the recipe, but it's really good. It has a really good sweet dipping sauce. Excuse me. Let's see, and you know, that's Cinco de Mayo, and that is Raisin Day. Same thing, celebrating different things, same thing. That's kind of my my main memory of, growing up in Dinuba, going to the park for either that or going to the park when you're, in elementary school just to hang out at the swings or something. My mom didn't let me date, so we would get a big group, like my group of friends, my girlfriends, and then we would go meet the guys. That was, kind of a thing. I'm trying to think. There's my freshman year of high school, we had 30 minutes for lunch, and we had to walk places. I had some friends who drove, but for the most part, it was kind of more of a pain in the butt to get in a car and drive. So we would walk to this place called Fiestas. It had been there since my brother. My brothers are much older than me, and they remember going to this place for lunch during their high school years. Fortunately, it's closed, and it's really sad because I want what we had for lunch there. We would go and we would walk, and I would have my boyfriend at the time buy me lunch, and I would buy chili cheese fries, and chili cheese fries by themselves with hot sauce. That was $1.87. And I would get a slush puppy, which was an icy, like those icy drinks that you get, but not like the Slurpee icy. This was just, I don't even know, it tasted different. And then a scoop of vanilla ice cream. It was the best thing ever. It was the best lunch ever. And we would speed walk from the high school because it was like maybe there was a fire station in between the school and Fiestas, so I'm going to say about maybe one the long block, but we would speed walk from school to Fiestas, get there, order, eat our food, go back. Lunch did not consist much of that, anything other than that, because we only had 30 minutes. But it was I sent a message to my friend and was like, do you remember when we'd eat this? It was so good. But yeah, that was that. I didn't drive, obviously, my freshman year in junior high, so it was a lot of spending time hanging out at friend's house, and maybe we can plan to go to Fresno to go shopping or, go see a movie or something like that. And I'm sure more stories will come up later as this goes on of my childhood and what I would do as a child. But seriously, that park is the main thing that revolves around. I can remember everything with that park. After my freshman year, I transferred schools to one that way of Dinuba. And that doesn't make any sense because it doesn't matter which way it was. I just went to a different town. The first couple months, I really didn't make any friends because it was a new school. It was a new private school. So I was kind of an outsider with these people who grew up together. But once basketball season came along, I actually made some friends because, even me, I like my alone time, but, I needed some friends. But I met these two girls. They're twins. I'm still friends with them today. They told me, one of their first things that they told me was that I reminded them of one of their friends that they had at a previous school. We hung out a whole lot. Wednesdays, we would go out. We would have time between basketball practice, after school and basketball practice. We had time to go eat, and we would go eat at this place called Cafe Intermezzo, and we would get a turkey panini. They introduced me to it, and I wouldn't eat anything else after that because it was just really good. And a drink called Mudslide. I'm sure some of you guys have had alcoholic mudslides, and I haven't, but I think maybe it's the same thing. It's a chocolate coffee drink, and that's what we would have. We would hang out downtown at this cafe. After basketball season, we would go there, and we would hang out there a while, and then we would go back to their house and hang out. And that's kind of what it consisted of. We were the loud, rambunctious kids. We wore Dickies, we wore Converse, we wore studded belts, we did all of that. We were that group of kids. We were good kids, but, that's kind of how we dressed. I started staying the night at their house on Wednesdays because Thursday mornings at 6 o'clock we would go to this thing called Power Hour, and it was, for church, and we would spend 30 minutes praying, to start our morning and stuff. And then we would go to this place called Donuts to Go. And we would hang out donuts to go until it was time to go to school, and then we would go to school. I spent a lot of time at their house. I practically lived at their house the summer and during the school year, because it was just easy for after school activities and stuff to kind of hang out at their house and then go do that. Trying to think, like I still kind of go over there and hang out with them at their house now. But during high school, like my sophomore and junior year, I spent a lot of time hanging out with them, and it was either at their house or we would roam the neighborhood, because I had friends who didn't go to our school, but we still hung out with them, and we would go hang out. Just a lot of hanging out at houses. I didn't get my license till my senior year, so I really didn't have any places to go anyways. And then my senior year, I spent a lot of time hanging out at home because I was dating the husband who was the boyfriend then. And that's a long story in itself, but we hung out a lot at my house because we couldn't go out on real dates. But yeah, those are the two main places that I grew up in, Reedley and Dinuba. Reedley is, they have something, street fair during May. It's later than Cinco de Mayo. So, but they have vendors and they have food and stuff. The town that I live in now, we lived here when we first got married, and that was about a year, and then we moved to another town called Fowler, which is 10 minutes north, and then we moved back to Kingsburg. Kingsburg is a little Swedish town. Like, we still haven't really dove into the town festivities, but it's a little Swedish town. You walk downtown and there's music, Swedish music, or I think it's Swedish music, playing from overhead. And there are little doll horses scattered around the town. When you try to look for them, you can't find them. But then when you're not looking, they're just like everywhere. They have a Swedish festival where they dress up as in the clog things. And they have a maypole or something like that. They usually do it on May 20th, and that's our anniversary, so that's how I know when they do it. But yeah, those are the three towns that kind of shaped. I grew up. Well, I didn't grow up in Kingsburg. That's in my later life. But Dinuba and Reedley are the ones that I really kind of hung out at a lot. Dinuba, I still go back there for a whole bunch of reasons. I have family over there, and I support family that does things over there. So yeah, I really love this area. I have gone to bigger cities. I haven't really traveled that much of the United States, but I've been to like St. Louis, I've been to Houston, Texas, I've been to a lot of big cities outside of California, and I've been to LA, I've been to San Diego and San Francisco. I've been to a lot of places in California too, and after visiting a lot of those places, I really realized that even though I wanted to get out when I was younger, and I, like any person from a small town wants to, they want to get out and they don't want to live in this small town that has nothing to do. But I appreciated my town more after visiting, because I couldn't live in a big city after visiting it. It just would seem too much. Yeah, it's, I love living in this area. Sarah gives me crap for the fruit, or she has at some point. Emily has told me your cows aren't happy, but I eat the fruit here fresh. Like, I don't get it shipped from, across the country. And I imagine no matter where you get your fruit from, if it's shipped across the United States, it might not be at its optimum. But so I get the fruit here optimum. We have fruit stands all over the place during the summer when, strawberries and all that other stuff is in season. Peaches, when all of that is in season, I can get it pretty much freshly picked. And that is like the best thing ever. And I really love that about living in this area, because I can't, it's a big thing for me. Fresh fruit, love it. Would not be able to live anywhere else because of the fresh fruit. And because of the weather. I know not a lot of people like the triple digits, but I love the triple digits. Give me 105 any day over, 50 or 40 below zero. I couldn't handle it. I see I'm already at 20 minutes. I don't want to, I know you probably, if you listen to this, oh my gosh, thank you. But, so I will end it here. I'm sure more stories will come up if you guys want to know more about a certain thing. I guess you guys can ask. But other than that, I thank you for listening. I hope you enjoyed me talking about food, because that's mostly what I talked about. But okay, bye. See y'all later.